Hi friends, I hope you're all well. This episode, differently from the other one, recorded not in nature. You'll soon understand why. So I said at least the opening of the episode, I'll do it a little bit outside in nature, surrounded by green. It's the peak of the winter here, so all the orange trees are fully grown with a lot of fruits on them. I want to thank you all for supporting this podcast. It's about a year since I started it, and I recorded, including this one, 12 episodes. This episode will be split into two, so it's about like one episode a month, and I hope in the future to at least keep that pace, and hopefully even more. So thank you all for your support and your feedbacks. And also I want to thank our sponsors, Lens for Rent, the best place to rent photography equipment in Israel, and Camera to Pick, the best shop to buy equipment in Israel, cheapest one. And I have a very special guest this time, my dear friend and one of the best nature photographers, in my opinion, in the world, Amos Nachoum, with ton of experience and information and inspiration. So we had a very long interview. So I'll split it into two separate episodes. So please subscribe to the channel if you're watching it on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple TV. So, Apple Podcast. So subscribe so you'll get notification for the next episode and also next episode on the future. Please keep sending me feedbacks and ideas for my podcast. I really appreciate you all. So enjoy.
Also, the polar bear that you said you were more interested of getting the picture of the polar bear underwater, even it's very impressive animal above the water also. But I know it was your second time that you were succeeding with the cub, and it's amazing picture. How was that experience and learning the behavior of this animal was for you?
As you know, as you said very well, there are so many pictures of polar bear on land and on the ice. It's just stunning.
Yes.
Picture that you have taken, the picture that Yarin took, picture that Ro'i took, and many other photographers in the world. So many movies made about. And again, like I saw the great white and almost picture of them in a cage and the movie Jaws. As a photographer, as a person that thinking that we all have brain with 15 billion cells. What are we doing with it?
Yeah.
I thought, how do I take this concept and make it different to be able to swim open water with a great white or the picture of the smiling great white? The same thing with a polar bear. Or with all those pictures that I see in front of me. What do? I go again to take a picture in Svalbard and a polar bear walking on the ice and look. Yes, many pictures take movie made, all of this wonderful. How do I make it one more picture like everybody else? Okay, one more picture. But if I'm a photographer, if that's my profession, that's my belief, how do I do something different? How do I do something that be benefiting the world to understand? And that is where you go to the stage of the world, rather than to be among your people on Facebook or in TikTok. Now that Trump make TikTok good again. So the same thing was the story about the polar bear. Polar bear live some of the time also in the water.
Yes.
They feed in the water, or they have to swim to find the seals in the water. And since I'm a photographer, I'm not a diver. I'm not a very good diver. I'm not very good climber. I'm not very good at anything, really. I'm not in the kitchen even. I don't cook. But when I take a camera in my hand, my visual concept, it goes to another level. So there is a story moment. Let's switch from it to psychology. Again, back to psychology.
Yeah.
In NLP, again, they said that we are communicating in the world on three different levels: kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. Each one of us have naturally in us when we're born these two character or two talents, either visual and kinesthetic, visual and auditory, auditory and kinesthetic, and so on and so forth, all the combination. But basically, we have, each one of us have only two of the three. Some of us can master the third one if they want to, or if we are aware of. I learned about myself that I'm very kinesthetic and I'm very visual. I'm not auditory. I cannot sing. I cannot whistle. I don't have how do you call it, a music box or music. I don't listen to music all the time and go with music in my ears. No, but when it comes to be active in a field, in a wilderness, either in the water or either on a mountain or either in snow, and be able to look at the picture visually, I'm getting to be a different kind of person. And that is what happened with the polar bear. So I take it underwater, and where I thought I'm strong enough or I'm able enough to be able to see the challenge and be able to deal with it based on information, again, on research that I've made about with people that have been before with polar bear and what the polar bear does and how to meet him in a way to be safe.
Yeah, it's actually can be a very dangerous animal, which from my knowledge is actually he will eat a man on his diet. Is the only animal that will really not just attack a man as a security or protecting his territory, like actually for meal. So it's probably something you need to take in consideration. But it's really amazing that you took your ability and knowledge of underwater and applying it to an animal that mostly been taking picture above water. So it's really doing it different.
But again, it's the issue of what I took on myself, the responsibility of dispelling the myth of dangerous wildlife. Yes, the animals are dangerous. The question how we deal with the danger safely in our capacity as human. So in the case of the polar bear, yes, this is what happened on land, in the water, from other people in the 50s and 60s that dive with polar bear. There were 4 or 5 other people which dive with polar bear, and they said the polar bear cannot dive more than 10 meters, which is 1 atmospheric pressure.
Yes.
Now, according to physics, also polar bear cannot equalize like we can.
Yeah.
Right? Well, because it cannot equalize the pressure of air. And because of the body weight and the fur that hold water, of course, no matter how powerful the polar bear, push another 1 foot atmospheric down and no equalizing. So that this 10 meter was the balance.
Yeah.
So learning from the service and the military, you know certain information and you build on top of it safety margin. I said, okay, if the polar bear can go only 10 meters, I'll take a margin of 15 meters and I'll go deeper than him.
Yes.
And that's what I did. But even then, this polar bear, that despite everything else out of the ordinary, was able to cross the 15 meter and they went down to 25 meters after me. Well, then I had to, I did not even think about it. I went immediately into survival mode. And I knew that if I want to survive, I had to do something. And that's in a split second. And I went as deep as I could and as fast as I could. Luckily enough, I was faster than him by maybe 5 seconds ahead of his palm. And I still see the palm over my head from time to time when I wake up in the middle of the night. But it was this understanding of what could happen. And again, part of the military training, what could happen, how you deal with something when you go out of the ordinary, what do you do? How do you act? What is in your mind? Not taking anything for granted.
Yeah.
And then be able to work with that to make it to your benefit, to your success, and to your survival.
Amazing. Another picture which I really like is the manta ray jumping. Is that in Mexico or in California taken?
It's in Mexico, which is it's not a manta. It is what they call mobile ray. It is a part of the manta ray, but called a mobile ray. They feed differently, and they have a different kind of body configuration.
Mhm.
They're coming in big school of hundreds or thousands of them during the months of come in April, May, June, July, and then of course other animals come around them, and they jump out of the water like popcorn
Is they
during the.
jump like that? What is the explanation for that behavior?
The truth is,
Nobody knows.
Of course not. Like we don't know why a humpback whale breach and
Yeah.
why sperm whale cannot breach all the way up, and why we don't know. There is certain kind of assertion or certain kind of studies that think about because they can, because they try to clear themselves from other parasites that attach to their body, other because of communication. But nobody really knows exactly why animals do those kind of things, but clearly they can do it, and it is empowering to be able to see them or when they do something like that. Yeah.
Amazing.
But go back a moment to the polar bear. The key was understanding with the polar bear, the idea that we went, Adam and I, that we based the story on, is to see a polar bear with not only one, because all of the other photography they took of polar bear is mostly of one swimming in the water, to be with a cub, because when she will be cub, she will be protecting the cub again, but the concept of polar bear or bear protecting the cub will be more aggressive.
Yeah, no, more near the cub.
Because what happened is people need to understand, because when you see the picture, people don't understand that it's difficult. When we saw the polar bear, Adam and I, we stayed about 200 meters away from them. Let them see us. We stayed on the surface. And they saw us all the time when they're swimming toward us. They could move 1 degree to the left, 1 degree to the right. I will never meet them.
Yeah.
They continue straight ahead toward us because we did not come toward them.
Yeah.
So the key here, the aggression. We were not aggressive toward them, not aggression toward the animal. The animal come curious by us. When they came to about maybe 5 meters in the front of us, only then, Adam and I, we gave a signal to each other. We were down to about 10 feet or 7 meters or 5 meters. And then the polar bear just swim over our head. And she did not even had any aggression or protection toward us, because there was not a moment of threat toward them and threat toward us. All mother and two cubs, not one cub. The mother nature sometimes provide you opportunity which second to none.
Yeah.
And it was a blessing. It was the last day of the filming. Danny and Yoni, of course, they had so much on their mind, responsibility. They were almost, and I told him, we have 24 hours is a long time. We can achieve a lot. I did not know. Honestly, I did not know. But the experience told me that Mother Nature, it is. And she gave us mother and two cubs.
Wow.
It was just remarkable.
Like all the stars aligned to that moment, like really.
The trust that we have to have in ourselves, it is so powerful. And listen, many times, as I said before, I was in debt for who knows how much. Many times I return empty-handed. But every time I return empty-handed, it was another foundation for second opportunity to be better.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, I remember this picture. It's blown my mind when I saw it. And also the movie of like to see how it all's been taken. But really it's
Thank you.
stunning.
Thank you very much.
Tell me a little bit about...
From another photographer, this kind of reaction, it give me, if you asked me before, what is happiness? This is satisfaction.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know the feeling. Tell me a little bit about the expedition you're guiding in the near future. What's your plans for this year and next year?
Well, very interesting. The two key expedition, or maybe three, or personal trip anyway. One of them is to Africa, but to do Africa different than most everybody, with a particular focus on some unique animal, unique way of photography, to bring the concept out from the big five into aiming in particular animal and what the behavior of this animal that make them so important for us to protect them. So that's the story behind, that's the mission, and that is the one concept. The second one is to go to Chile, as you and I talked about already, to photograph the puma. But not everybody, many people photograph the puma. It's no big deal, it's not difficult. But photographing the puma on snow during the winter time,
it's more
where most people avoid, this is where you go.
Yeah. It's very difficult to predict the snow over there. That's the thing. It's not like a specific time that for sure there is a snow. It comes and goes and it's changing.
Well, June, July is the winter time,
Yeah,
is the
that's
peak
the
winter
time.
time. And that's where we go. And we invested about 3 weeks to a month to be there. And
good chances.
so it is all about investment of time and effort.
Yeah.
With a mission like that is always investment. You cannot do it on a trip that you go for 7-10 days.
Yeah.
It's investment.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Well,
I've been there 3 times actually.
Wow.
with the pumas. First time in 2015, it was not so common as today.
Yes.
It's kind of not a pioneer, but it was very rare then to do it. And then again in 2019 and last year also. So it's evolving, and now of course more people do it. But it's an amazing experience of a whole experience for me. It's landscape, it's the animals, of course, and walking with the pumas, and it's amazing. Chile is really an amazing experience.
Did you stay at the Laguna? What is this? Laguna Mato? Where did you stay? Maybe.
No, I think the last time we stayed at I forgot the name of this place. It's like half an hour from the ranch. It's not in the park. It's outside of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah. This place is easier and the closest to where the pumas are.
Okay.
There is a lot of cubs there now. I saw it's amazing.
Yes. And so that is again this along the story about how to do things differently than other. If you are a photographer, what is the mission? What is the concept? What is the story behind? I don't mind to share it again, as we said before. Today, I've not very much to hide anymore. On the contrary, the more I tell, the more hopefully raising a new generation of very good photographer, other storyteller, messenger of the world. You're not just photographer to make money. You have a story to tell. You have a way to enrich other people and to make the society we live a better society. The third story, which is one of those extreme project, very risky, is risky, not that I'm going to be killed or facing death, but business-wise, if you want to call it, but with great message, if I'll be successful, is looking for the clouded leopard.
Wow.
And that will be, again, 2 or 3 weeks. And then hopefully, because the animal is threatened and endangered, it is nocturnal, mostly at night. And the problem is basically because of the deforestation of the rainforest in these countries of the world for the benefit of society or for people living in, but to try to afford or to put some kind of education in the hand of the lawmaker, how to control or how to avoid really destroying the environment for not just this particular animal, but many others that live in there, but the key animal or the unique animal that live there that bring the attention into this issue of conservation.
For me, the clouded leopard is the most beautiful cat I ever seen. I mean, I haven't seen my eyes, but yeah.
Thank you.
So beautiful and so special. And even when I saw it on like National Geographic movies and stuff, it always been shot like in zoos and sanctuaries, not really in nature. I think I saw maybe one like shot from a trap camera or something with a real nature clouded leopard. So the big challenge, but it's really beautiful cat. It's a really beautiful cat for
It's
sure.
a beautiful experience. It's
Yes.
the experience.
Of course.
Even if I don't come with any picture,
Of course. If it was easy, it was not fun. Yeah.
just the experience to go out there, to be with the local people, to sweat and to be with all the mosquitoes.
Yeah, for sure.
What, to live in Carmel or to live in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem? It is life outside. It's not only that. Yeah.
Actually, in your area, there is a lot of mountain lions, pumas, so you need very difficult to see them around
It's
California.
difficult to see them, and we're not allowed to get close to them, and all the rest of it with the local laws.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Amos, tell me please a little bit about your expedition that you're guiding and taking nature lovers and photographers to these special places we've been talking about.
Thank you, Ido. Well, it is all come from the beginning as we started the conversation that I need, as a photographer, or I decide to be a professional photographer, I had to find what is the question that are leading me and what is the answer to the questions. And this is dispelling the myth of dangerous wildlife and how to behave in harmony with wilderness, and to bring it as a story, to bring it as experience, an ongoing situation. So since nobody in America at the time will hire me, until today, nobody will hire me, I'm considered in the world of diving the most dangerous person. But till today, of course, as we already know, I did not lose anybody or hurt anybody on my trip, over 8,000 people. I had to develop an organization that allow me to lead people into the field and with them coach them and show them the way, and at the same time also taking my pictures. And that's how I created my reputation or my experience in the world, and be able to bring people back home from experience with a crocodile, with a great white, with a polar bear, with the orcas, and a snow leopard up on the mountain of Ladakh, up to 5,000 feet or 5,000 meters above sea level. So I organize a group. Now, since I had the experience earlier in a career in the 70s and the 80s, working with most of the reef around the world, and I had a chance to work at the time with the leading company like National Geographic and BBC, and leading for them movie production, I learned from them. Again, as we talked earlier, it's not about copy other, but how we emulate what they do. And I see how they organize their team that came to do trip with me, either will be on a Great White or either in the Red Sea, or other, even with Jacques Cousteau in 1986, 87, rediscovery of the world. They hired me to work with them or to lead them into Papua New Guinea and around all this area in the South Pacific. So I learned from them, small group, long period of time, and that where eventually people can benefit, because weather have a weather pattern, and we need to overcome the weather pattern in order to be able to get something out of the expedition or out of the trip where people invested. Where flying to any part of the world was the most expensive element of the expedition. So why to go there only for 7 days if you can stay 10 days or 12 days? So the organization of the trip from 1988 till today are based on this fact. Very small group, depend on two element things. One, welfare of the animal, and the other one of the destination, the weather pattern in a destination. So the group will be anywhere between 7 days up to 1 month. Depend what is the trip about. Yes. So like a trip to Antarctica or to South Georgia, for me, is not about 10 days trip back and forth just fast, or big boat with 50 or 100 people. I will go on a sailboat, a very specific sailboat designed to be on the ice, but go out for 1 month to be around South Georgia or Antarctica, because according to regulation, small boat can go anywhere they want to be. They can park, they can get to any bay that bigger boat cannot get in. And if anybody want to be a photographer or want to enjoy his photography, is not going out to the same place that many people been there before.
Yeah.
you can, but then you stay there much longer till you bring image that's different than others. But if you go to places like, oh, this kind of trip that go to Antarctica for 1 month, and we'll be able to go to many ports that the bigger boats are not allowed to because of the effect on the environment, our effect or my effect on the environment or my footsteps is very limited.
Yes.
And then we can see not just different wildlife, which is a different issue, but can be able to see unique and authentic behavior of the animal.
How many people usually are in your groups?
Well, between 4 to 8 people, no more than 8 people on any trip that I'm running around the world. Will be either on a sardine run, will be on a marlin run, will be to Dominica, will be to the Seychelles with the blue whale, even to Antarctica, between 4 to 8 people, depend on the time, depend on the subject we photograph, depend on the effect we put or the pressure we put on the animal. Because if we talked before about the effect that I experienced and I got burned out diving on a reef around the world because of the number of people participating and how we use at the time to throw anchors on the reef and destroy it. So reef in the world today are suffering not just because of global warming, but also because of overpopulation. It becomes so popular to do it.
Yes.
Unfortunately, and I'm one to blame in a way, is the same thing happened also today with diving in blue water. It became very popular. Many young photographers, some of them worked with me before or were traveling with me, start their own organization to do that, which is the name of the game. It is competition everywhere. Tesla have a competition, Apple have a competition, even Gucci have a competition.
Yes.
So that's okay, that's part of life. The question was for me, how do I continue, but do it differently, keeping my motto of operation, respecting to the environment?
Yes.
And that's why is working with small group, longer period of time, and only during the peak time of the year, where is a chance to see. So I will not run a trip, let's say for Seychelles, for 3 or 4 months at a time to find blue whale.
Yeah.
The window opportunity of blue whale in Seychelles is very limited, perhaps to 3 to 4 weeks of the year. And the same thing about seeing the leopard seal in Antarctica. The best time to do that will be only February, and which is the end of the season in Antarctica for visiting. So luckily enough, in my 45 years and doing many trips, some of them which I've unfortunately had a setback or was not as successful, but I was able to monitor and always changing the trip date accordingly, either my experience, fishermen, weather, local researcher. And then continue the success of the operation.
Yeah, even with changing of global climate, sometimes season changing during the years. So in many places.
Very much so, yes. So now every year I have to be more and more checking with the local people, local expert, local researcher, and fishermen about what they see, what they witness, and looking at the general map of the world and look after some NOAA research about changing of the current underwater and the temperature, and depend on El Nino and La Nina. All those things are very affecting the behavior of the animals. Sometimes they move earlier and sometimes they arrive later than usual. So, but that is part of the joy to do. It is continue keep me young and continue looking at many different places, but that's make the day much more interesting for me, rather to pay attention to all the news and what's happening around the world and all this. There are happy things to do in life. And I decided to do a long time to look at what make me happy and make other people, bring them joy to their life experiences.
Amazing. I'm hoping one day I'll join you in one of your I'm more above the water people. I'm not of the underwater people, but maybe something above water.
Thank you for this opportunity. Let me share with you something very interesting for all the people that don't think about underwater. You can participate, for example, on a trip to Dominica because it's only swimming. You don't have to be a diver.
You don't have to be a diver.
The only thing you need to bring is a mask and a snorkel and fin. So we are not scuba diving. You don't need to be licensed. the same thing with the blue whale, the same thing with the humpback whale. It is many, or the same thing, even the sardine run or the mobile run with the orca, either in Norway or either in Mexico.
Yeah.
So it's an action for people which are non-diver. This
Yes.
part, very good for, I forgot being so excited.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention it.
Yes.
It is not only for divers. There's no need to
Good to
scuba
know.
diver with a tank and license.
Yeah.
You can just, anybody that walk onto and like hiking, if you swim, you can very easily join me and be able to take some picture. And the beautiful part of it, that if you take an iPhone without housing, you can take it with you to almost 10 meter underwater.
Amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. I dived one time in my life in Eilat, just with a guide who was like with me, and it was nice, but I said, okay, I'm done with this. I'll stay above water. It's not for me.
But snorkeling will be
Yeah,
different.
snorkeling is amazing. Yeah, I did it many times. It's amazing. Thank you. Okay, amazing. Perfect.
So if people want to know, the company which I run or operate since 1988 is very simple, Big Animals Expedition. People can go online and see what trip are running currently. And during the trip, I don't run workshop, but I coach people during the trip because I work with very small group of people, 4 to 8 people. During the trip, I have the chance and the time to work with them, not just on camera setting and not just to tell them how to shoot and what I do at the moment. We can, after every day, we can come in and look at the Lightroom or Photoshop and be able to work on the image to see what they've done and how to understand what they saw when they took the picture and why they did it, and to see if there is matching between their thinking and the result.
Yes.
And how to bring it closer and closer.
Yes.
That the thought and what they're feeling at the moment translate through the image. And that's part of the joy I have to be able to share with them how to work with Lightroom or Photoshop, how not to take it too far that it look artificially, and how to keep it in a parameter of something authentic.
Yes, I really enjoy, even the picture in the camera look amazing. I tell them, okay, let's wait until we get to the computer. We're gonna push it a little bit even, so it's not gonna be just good, it's gonna be wow. But of course, we are not manipulating and doing AI stuff. We're just gonna put it a little bit popping out. That's it, and that's the way.
We have to be careful, especially in case like you and Ro'i and Yarin, and what you do with your client and what I do with my client, to advise them and to encourage them to be professional and to keep authenticity of their image and to stand by it.
Yes.
And not just to stand by that, and also not to give images for free for publication.
Yes.
To help them to understand the value of copyrights.
Yes.
The value of their creation, their investment in time, in money, in insurance, and risk-taking. That is not just send picture for free for magazine just to get your name published, because honestly, to anybody listen to us, nothing I got in return for giving image for free.
Yes.
Nothing, except if it was for conservation purposes. But for magazine commercial effort, never I got anything in return because my name was there. But always make sure that you get paid. Then how much you get paid is a different story. This is another issue altogether for another show.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Amos.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys, for everybody, Ido, for your time, and for everybody listening. Again, biganimals.com or Google my name, and hopefully I will. You can come with questions, you can come with ideas, and of course, if you want to join the one of the trip between now till 2026, 27, even 2028, I think forward until then.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So now I have some like a few questions I ask every one of my guests. So there will be a few questions. What is your favorite photograph? It's a very difficult question.
A photograph of what, other people or me or one?
That you took. What is your favorite one that you took from
Oh,
all?
what is my favorite picture? I don't have one. There must be few, not only one. I cannot choose one.
You can
to be
choose 2 or 3.
favorite. Well, the polar bear with the 2 cubs, 6
Yeah.
pairs of eyes looking at me out from the deep, from
Wow.
the only less than 10 feet, 3 meters away from me. It was like I'm still shaken. The picture of of course, the great white smiling. It is like,
Yeah.
there is nothing like that on a 50mm lens. It really give you a real to factually, statistically, mathematically, to any aspect, real picture of a great white smile rather than killing you or hurting you. And then a third picture will be the blue whale, mother and cub, with the light beaming from the surface, aiming at them as they are in a migration of over 6,000 miles from the Banda Sea in Indonesia all the way to Antarctica.
Oh.
It is the largest animal ever live, and a mother carry a cub, and she do maybe 1 to 3 cubs in her lifespan.
Yeah.
And she only when she got to 12 years old or 15 years old, she can bring a cub alive. It is, I get a joy just this 70, 80, 90 feet animal swimming. And
Wow, amazing. The next question we actually already answered. What is your next private goal and trip? So you also already said that. What is the best tip you can give or that someone told you about wildlife photography?
there is more than one again, but first of all, is knowing why you are going to do it, what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, and how to prepare for that mentally. What kind of picture in your mind you want to take. If you look at what other photographer did, how you're going to do as good as they done or differently, not better, not necessarily better, but different. It is not about being better than anybody else. It's not a competition.
Yeah.
It is about taking a picture which is different than other. You can emulate other, but don't copy other.
Yes.
So know your equipment very well. Know the territory very well. Those are the basic element. Probably above that, trust yourself. What is in your heart of heart that you want to tell anybody why you took the picture, and what the message you want to bring back in return, even if you did not succeed.
Yes, totally. Yeah, sometimes failure is the best teacher for you for the second time. So you know.
It's like university, it's like school.
Yeah, totally. You talked about gear. What gear do you use today? No.
Oh, what gear? Okay. I wish you never asked this question, but I use a Nikon. I have the Z9. The lenses I have, anywhere from the 800, the new lens on the Z9, the lightweight, the 800mm. I'm happy to take it with me to Africa. The zoom 180 to 600, 100 to 400. And then, of course, the wide-angle lenses for the shooting underwater, the 24 to 70 and 14 to 24.
Yeah. Every time you change a camera, you need to change the housing for underwater, right? So it's not something that can fit.
So people know why they pay so much for any trip.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, clearly that people need to know. There's no secret. Their price built out of what it takes to you, to Roy, to Yarin, to me, to any photographer joining them. Our experience, our knowledge, our time, it is money, and it is valuable. And that's what if they open their mind and how to learn, they can learn a lot as they travel with you so many times, so many years, and with Ro'i and the school that you have built, or Ro'i built together with all of you guys, and what I built throughout the year, the big animal expedition. That's based on the knowledge we share with people, and that's what they're buying.
Yeah, no, it's really rewarding. I was just giving a few private classes last week, just here in Hod Sharon in the ecological park. And some like photographers who've been through classes, and I've been with them for 2 hours, and they told me, wow, you changed my ability and my knowledge in 2 hours like amazingly. And it's really nice to, and especially on tours that you go for a week or 2 weeks. So it's like a whole another like class, like a whole course in 2 weeks. Like it's really nice to have that experience.
Because what happened, photography become very popular in the past maybe 10 years.
Yes.
And mostly because of the invention of the iPhone, very easily. And then people upgrade from their own into the new cameras.
Yes.
And become really very fashionable to travel with camera with a Sony. She's very light and all the rest. Perfectly. What is missing again, and that's where what you did very well, is explaining people how to use this black box or this computer that have a lens in it.
Yeah.
And that is your contribution. That is very good project on your part to do, to really enrich people understanding that it's not about just to click and to take a picture, how you make this picture look better. The difference between making picture to take pictures.
Yes.
Take picture when you chase somebody. You make picture is before like the picture you have of the tiger in the temple.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great to hear it from you. Thank you.
It is my pleasure, really great when I see a photographer, I see a picture, not a photographer. When I see a picture that is really powerful and really messaging and really done well to complement and to explain why it is good. No, oh, wonderful, great, aloof, all those messages. What is this? But there was another photographer in the team of Ro'i, I guess, this week or last week. They took a picture of another tiger in another temple.
Yeah.
And it was excellent, very good, because what he did, something very rare, he took it vertically.
Yes.
Because camera usually is, you hold it horizontally.
Yeah.
Yes? It's how the camera designed. Vertically, you need to change, and you need the lens, the control, and everything else. So it is not natural direction.
Yeah.
And again, he took it vertically, and it worked very well because the frame of the temple or the door that he took, it was also vertical.
Yeah.
So you see the tiger and you see the door, both of them element each other. So the tiger look much bigger. You see the leg much longer rather than on the horizontal. That is the work of you have to use this brain behind the camera.
Totally. Beside the experience you told me with the polar bear, what was your most scariest experience photographing or guiding a group like that happens to you?
Scary. Well, if it was anything scary, then it was a failure on my part. So because with people, because that is what I'm probably proud of myself, that I took over 8,000 people all around the world, from Antarctica to the high Arctic and everywhere else, and with crocodile in the Botswana, and with a great white out of the cage, and with a polar bear, and with the reason people do not get hurt is because I manage the risk, I manage the danger beforehand, and that is part of not as a photographer anymore, as a trip organizer or expedition leader. Avoid risk, avoid challenges of last moment people escape. So I'm proud of myself. I took over, as I said, 8,000 people by now, all around the world, and no danger at all to my client. For myself, yes, I had a moment, like we know the story about the polar bear. There were other situations, again, like the leopard seals or like the crocodile. I had to take, because I know the history of this animal or the story about this animal, the danger of being around them, that they are capable of hurting us if we will be clueless, because clearly we become clueless.
Yeah.
So rather to be clueless, I took the responsibility, like, again, something we learn in the military service, how to have enough intelligence, enough information, study the field, study the environment, understanding what can happen, what worse can happen, what good can happen, and how to manage, and rather calculated risk. I calculated success.
Yeah.
And that is how I managed my life till now. I did not have really, well, among people, I did not have any danger situation. It was all my trip, all around the world. For myself, I had moments that I had to really risk myself out of a situation. One was with a polar bear, and the second one was with walruses in the high Arctic. And again, it was a chain of effect because of inexperience, and the people that were with me, or the logistic provider that supported me at the time, we both were green, and therefore there was almost a risk situation. I got hurt by a walrus. The walrus put his tusk
My God.
in my dry suit, and I gave it. Last moment, I had to turn around and give it my butt rather than the other part of my body. And I got cold water, but I successfully got out of it. The walrus is safe, and I learned the lesson, and I was able to work it out. But this is the only extent in all my career, is basically because I took the time beforehand to do it myself first, before I take anybody else. That's why the cost of the operation is as such. We have to amortize those costs before. As you go to research and development, like you go in high tech and you go to the startup company. They raise money from all over the world. I raise money only for myself, but eventually I had to amortize that and work it well. Yeah. There was no ever accident or ever threat among my clients everywhere in the world, from everywhere in the world. And for me, was these two events that were basically in cold water again.
Yeah.
And they were very good lessons.
A scary moment can be even, for example, one of my travelers on the plane to Costa Rica to a tour, he came to me and he said, I think I forgot my camera. I had the charger at home, and he brought only lenses. So eventually we find someone who had extra camera and gave it to him. So it worked out fine, but that also can be a scary moment.
Well, I have many stories like that. One of my clients, we went to Mexico, and he did not bring his extension ring to the housing to different lenses. He had to fly back home.
Oh my God.
And go back to Mexico in the last 3 days of the trip and able to make it. But yeah, those things happen. Well, gear lost in the airline, people missing parts, so we changed between us. So I work less, and I gave one of my lenses to the customer. I had a customer of mine in 1982, one of the trip on the Great White, and was another good photographer, David Perelman, and he's still photographing, and he sent me a message just last week, and he said he still remember 1982 that I lent him my 200 millimeter lens to take picture of birds that he was taking while we were there, and this is almost 40 years ago.
Wow.
I do not remember that. You do it from your heart, and you keep going.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, Amos, I think we had an amazing conversation with a lot of inspiration and information. I'm still dreaming of the day that we will meet out in the field and not only on competition with tuxedos like that. So thank you very much for this.
But before we leave, I have one more message
Yes.
to all photographers in the world. We have an amazing opportunity, an amazing planet to make wonderful story, wonderful picture compared to the all-time great painter. When the great painter lived, this is in the 15th, 16th, 17th centuries, they did not have cameras.
Yes.
And they create art, which is still today go for millions, right?
Yeah.
What did they have? They had white canvas, and they had to put everything in it, either the light, either the color, either the angle, and to create line in a picture that bring the people into the picture and to be appreciated and admired till today.
Yeah.
We photographers have exactly opposite gift. We have all the beautiful world out there. And we have a camera. We have the light, we have everything else. We have to bring it to life. But what happened is, in the world we live in, is chaos. Is a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
Question how you put the right lens, the right vision, or the right vision, the right lens, the right story together and bring it alive and capture the light. Light is the most important element. Second to light is the composition. Third, it is the story behind the picture.
Yeah, it's actually, I have a lecture I'm doing about post-processing, which brings a lot of examples from painters and art, like from the past, how they were looking at the light and composition and the sharpness, and how we're gonna apply that in, of course, in the camera, but also in post-processing. So it's really interesting that you say that also.
The last message to everybody else, if you want to be successful, look at the work of the great painter, emulate
Yes.
the tools or the concept that they have used and how they use the brain to hard work to put it. Now we can do it with the camera, but you have to think about it beforehand. You have to adjust yourself and be prepared, because the computer will do the rest. It will take the picture 2 seconds before you think you're going to take it.
True.
Ido, thank you so very much.
It was a pleasure, Amos. Big honor.
For everything and for the time that we know each other and for the time we're going to meet each other next time in Israel or anywhere else in the world.
Anywhere else, yeah, of course. So thank you very much. And this is a very special day in Israel also, that some hostages are starting to get released and hopefully will end the suffer for so many people. And
hopefully Israel will learn the lesson that never exchange prisoner for so many terrorists.
Yeah.
A big lesson. Israel, the concept of Judaism is the life of one, and it is valuable. Fortunately enough, Sinwar find out the weakest point of the Israeli society.
Yes.
No F-35 and no Iron Dome and no special forces and no Shaldag and Shayeret. There is the weakest point, like David and Goliath. They found our weakest point, and we need to be able to learn how to protect our people out of what happened in the Holocaust and what happened to 7th of October for the future of any group of people in the world. Anti-Semitism must be eliminated, must be condensed to nothing. And the Muslim brother need to be dealt with this issue. Fanatism will not work, not on the side of Islam, not inside of Jews.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take it out in the end of the conversation.
No, it's an important message, and it's an important day also for everybody. So thank you again, Amos, and I'll work on that video and post it soon. So thank you very much, and we'll be in touch again soon.
So I never spent the exciting 2 hours like that. I don't know what is the time now, 2 hours?
Yeah, almost 2 hours, yeah.
Hour and a half. I did not realize the time passed so well.
Time passed, yeah, when we talk about things we love.
Oh, I thank you for your kindness and for the invitation, and really give me a chance to share more out of myself. As I mentioned earlier in the beginning, that's my happiness.
Thank you. Thank you, Amos. So we'll be in touch. Have a great day back there.
Oh.
Bye.